In the previous two videos on pool chemistry, we discussed pH and total alkalinity. In this video, we'll discuss calcium hardness. The range is between 100 and 400 parts per million. Some sources report a range to be a little more narrow. However, I believe this is dependent on the type of pool you have. For instance, if your pool has a vinyl liner, then the values will probably be different than if it has concrete walls. So it's a measure of how much calcium is present. Specifically, it's a measure of how much calcium ion is present. It can also be thought of as how hard or how soft the water is. You're probably familiar with that in other contexts. If calcium hardness is too low, the water becomes aggressive. Now, we talked about this before in a previous video, but if we don't have enough calcium, what happens is the reaction seeks its equilibrium, and the aggressive water will literally pull calcium ions or pull calcium from the grout and from the concrete of the pool. So it's sort of interesting that water that doesn't have any calcium in it will sort of like seek it out from other sources, will literally dissolve, even rocks and stuff like that. If calcium hardness is too high, limescale precipitates out and the water appears cloudy. Now, adjusting calcium hardness. To increase it, we simply add calcium chloride. And most of the time you'll be in a situation where you have to increase your calcium chloride, so you'll be adding this salt. If you do come across a situation where you have to decrease calcium hardness, there's a couple options available. So I should mention that the calcium hardness has a tendency to kind of creep up over time. This is because as water evaporates, it leaves behind the calcium salts. There's chelating agents available that will sort of grab the calcium. I don't know how effective or necessary those are because you can always decrease the calcium hardness by diluting the water. So simply by adding water from your hose, or even if there's a rainfall, that should introduce fresh water too.